So, children, this was the last thing we had to discuss in the class. So, I'm sending you this video so that our chapter will be completed. Then, I'm going to send you the new words and also the question and answers. So, we will read about Birsa Munda as Akshara read about it, that he was born in 1870s. Okay, he was the son of a poor father. He grew up around the forest of Bohans who used to graze sheep, okay, playing flute and dancing in the local akhadas. Now, forced by the poverty of his father, he had to move from place to place looking for a work. You people know that tribals were the nomadic people. Now, as an adolescent, Birsa heard tales of the Munda uprising of the past and saw that Sirdars, that means the leader, Sardar, it is actually called the Sardar of the community, up urging the people to revolt. They talked of a golden age when the Mundas had been free of the oppression of Dikus. Who are Dikus? The outsiders, the Europeans, the Britishers, and said there would be a time when the ancestral right of the community would be restored. So, they themselves, as the descendants of the original settlers of the region, fighting for their land, mulk ki ladai, okay, that is for fighting for their own land, native land, reminding the people of the need to win back their kingdom. So Birsa was the leader of their community. Birsa went to the local missionary school and he listened to the sermons of missionaries. Children, you know, when these people introduced the education over here, they started changing the religion of the children over there, and they just set up their mind to just change their religion even. So Birsa also went there and he heard sermons there by the missionaries. There too he heard that it is said it was possible for the Mundas to attain the kingdom of heavens and regain their lost rights. So this would be possible if they become good Christians and gave up their bad practices. Children, in India there were no Christians earlier. It was only after these people came to India and the missionaries started doing so. That's why in southern part and all that you might see even today Christians are living. Okay. So they were the Indians who were converted to the Christianity. Yes. Now if they became good Christians and gave up their bad practices, later Birsa also spent some of the time in the company of prominent Vaishnava preacher. He wore the sacred thread, you know, na, Janev, that is called the sacred thread, and began to value the importance of purity and pity. Now Birsa was deeply influenced by many of the ideas that he came in touch with in his growing up years. As you all grow, you come to know new things about the society. So happened with Birsa Munda. Now his movement was aimed at reforming tribal society because he used to belong that. Now he urged the Mundas to give up drinking liquor, clean their village and stop believing in witchcraft and sorcery. Children, this is something which you might have heard, okay, about the magic spell and all that, okay. Now but we must remember that Birsa also turned against missionaries and Hindu landlords. He saw them as the outside forces and that were running the Munda's way of life. Now in 1895, please children mark, he urged his followers to recover their glorious past. He talked of a golden age in the past and staying at the age of the truth, okay. Sorry, Satyug. Satyug means the age of the truth. So they want to restore that. Now when Mundas lived a good life, constructed embankments, tapped natural springs, earned their living, they did not kill their brethren and relatives. They lived honestly. Birsa also wanted people to once again work on their land and settle down and cultivate their fields. So the seeds of divide and rule policy were sown here in these community people also. So that's why Birsa want to reform the society, the tribal society. Now what worried British officers most was the political aim of Birsa movement, for it wanted to drive out the missionaries, moneylanders, Hindu land laws and the government, and set up a Munda Raj with Birsa at its head. The movement identified all the forces as the cause of the misery of the Mundas that they were suffering. Now, yes, children. So you might see the land policies of the British were destroying their traditional land system. Hindu landlords and moneylenders were taking over their land, and missionaries were criticizing their traditional culture. So that was the main reason for the revolt of these Munda people. As the movement spread, the British officers decided to act. Now it was enough for them. Now they have decided to act upon it. They arrested Birsa in 1895. Children, please mark, it's very important. You should know that he was arrested for being the leader of Munda tribe, convicted him on the charges of rioting and jailed him for 2 years. Till 1897 he was in the jail. Now Birsa was released in 1897 and he began touring the villages to gather support. He used traditional symbols and languages to rouse people. When he was released from the jail, he did not leave anything. He gathered more people for that, okay, urging them to destroy Ravan, whom he has called Ravan, the Dikus, the Europeans, and establish a kingdom under his leadership. Now Birsa's followers began targeting the symbols of Diku and European power. They attacked police stations and churches and raided the property of moneylenders and jamidars. They raised the white flag as a symbol of Birsa Raj. Please mark, children, this is very important. The white flag was symbol of these tribal people. Now in 1900, Birsa died of cholera and the movement faded out. However, the movement was very important. First, please mark, it forced the colonial government to introduce laws so that the land of the tribals could not easily be taken by Dikus. Okay, and the second was, it showed once again that the tribal people had the capacity to protest against injustice and express their anger against colonial rule. They did this in their own specific way, inventing their own rituals and symbols of struggle. So children, that was very important to read about the tribal people, and still these people are very furious. They live in community, okay, they have lot of unity, oneness among them. Nobody can just go against these people, okay. So it is just because they still live in unity, okay, and unity always wins, children. So that was all about this tribal movement during the colonial period. Hope you understood the chapter. Now it's time you people will do the new words and the book part and then send me by assignment, okay, in the form of assignment. Bye.